Howdy, hey, hello, it's McKenna, and welcome to Munch and Mingle, the last episode of Munch and Mingle of 2022. I'm so grateful to have you guys here. This is insane that I'm actually doing this. I can't believe 2023 is knocking on our door. So what better episode to talk about than planning your new year? I have to give a shout out to one Lexi. Her nickname is Tiki. Lexi and I have this crazy background that we were in the same world but didn't know each other, yet we were brought together just because of certain things. Retreat for girls. We'll talk more about that. But basically became close through that. I ended up planning Lexi's wedding. She was one of my first big weddings that I planned as I started doing wedding and events. And we've just stayed in touch through that. And she was actually the one who messaged me a couple days ago and was like, so do you have any episodes about planning for the new year? And she was one who kind of supported my holiday prep planning episodes and whatnot. And it was just this, I was so grateful. And I was like, I feel so seen by you, Lexi. Like, why was I not even thinking? I was kind of thinking of doing an episode about this, but I was like, no, everyone knows how to plan their year. But it was like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, this is all I do in my life is, I might not plan weddings and events specifically right now, but if you come into our house, you will see everything has a plan. You cannot take the planning out of the planner. That is for sure. So thank you to Lexi. Everyone be sure to thank her. This episode goes out to her. So before we get into that, our munchie, which I don't have with me, I'm so sad. I wish I did. It was actually something that I was able to try while we were in New Mexico. We just got back from the bull game, which was awesome. But, me and Britton's parents were out shopping while he was at practice. And we looked at this place called Old Town. It's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Awesome place. I had heard about it and I was like, I don't know. Totally worth the hype. It really is. Well, we ended up, it was super cold and windy. So Steve, my father-in-law, found a bakery to go into. And we're like, okay. So we're like, well, we'll just get something to eat and kind of stay out of the cold for a sec. So I was just looking over it and I was just going to get a normal croissant. But the girl at the cash register was like, you really got to try this other thing. So what it was, it's called a Cruffin. It's a croissant, like basically croissant dough that they shape into a muffin tin and then they inject it with chocolate. Oh my goodness. It was amazing. I need to find a recipe. I have never heard of them anywhere else. I don't know if they're only specific to New Mexico or just this bakery. It was called the Roadrunner Bakery, I believe, right there in Old Town. It was amazing. My father-in-law had an out-of-body experience just eating it because he is the pastry king. Like that's his thing. But amazing. So Roadrunner Cafe Bakery, one of them, Cruffin. Just, you got to try it. And I seriously will be trying to look up a recipe for it because it was amazing. Alrighty, here we go. So now when this episode airs, obviously we still have Christmas coming up, but like I said, this is my last episode. I will not be coming back on with an episode until the second week of January. It's going to be a great one. It's actually Ginger. She's coming back and she is going to talk about goals. But I wanted to kind of just have this one here that you guys can maybe come back to and listen after Christmas, that weird week that's between Christmas and New Year's. Come back and listen to this and get ready and get set up. Be sure to stick around through this episode. I've got a really cool announcement at the end of the episode of what I'm wanting to do for New Year's Day. Okay, so we're going to plan out our year. All right. Before you start getting all your supplies out, your calendars, marking dates, we need to do a little reflection. Yes, it is needed. You guys, it's so needed because we cannot go into another year just thinking or just leaving behind all the success that we've done, all the things that we've learned. We need to reflect. We need to acknowledge and we need to carry the good things into our next year, leave behind any of the bad things, right? But we're going to we're going to acknowledge. Okay, hello, thing on my computer. Sorry. So what did you learn? Biggest things. So this can obviously fall in line with goals. Any of your goals, you guys, my goal, and most of you already know if you listen to my episodes, for 2022 was to learn how to cook. That was a big thing. That was pretty much my whole goal for the year. And it wasn't just how to cook, from a box. I wanted to cook from scratch. And I will be honest, I started out with the year of like, okay, and then everything happened with Bo. So my goal got put on the back burner. And I would say that I turned back to that goal probably around, I have to think it was like May or June. So there were almost 6 months that I really wasn't doing too much actively with it. And that's okay. I think so many times we think we have to be perfect at a goal for the whole year, which is not true. Because even though I had 6 months, give or take, of not pursuing or actively putting time into my goal, you guys, as we stand here today, I can confidently tell you I can cook. I can, and I love it. It has been such a great year with that goal. And so when I look back on it, I think of all the great memories that I've had and the things I've able to do with that now. And it's amazing. And everyone should have that feeling. So do not set goals. I know a lot of people say, don't set goals because they'll make you feel bad about yourself. No, you set goals. They don't always just have to be weight loss. They can be other things. I think that's where we need to start branching out. Everyone on New Year's, I'm going to lose weight. And not that that's a bad thing, but I just think it becomes too cliche that that's why we give up so easily. But don't worry, if that is your goal, which I'll go into my goals, we're going to talk about how to achieve it. Anyway, what did you accomplish? That again can go with your goals. I had certain things, like my goal was cooking, but I had certain tasks that I wanted to be like, I want to know how to cook this. I want to know how to cook this specific thing. I want to be able to make up my own recipe. Like those were those little things. And I can say like, I've accomplished those. And then what did you experience? Again, just going with the goal. I was able to meet the creators of a cookbook that changed my life. That was an amazing thing. But if we're looking outside of just your goals, I had a baby. I had a miraculous baby, a birthing experience that I will never forget. I've been able to start a podcast. Britton and I were able to go have a trip in New Mexico together. Like so many good things. Look on the positive, and trust me, there are so many. Okay. Don't think I didn't do anything. I didn't have that. No, there are things. Okay. So grab the good stuff, even if it's just one or two, and we're going to put that out into the next year. We're going to manifest it out into 2023. Okay. So, next step, creating your new year. Okay. So obviously it's kind of customary that you have some goals. And again, I'm not saying that's bad. I want you to have goals. Let's just be very intentional about these goals. So if something that you want to do is you really, I guess the big thing, the reason I chose cooking as my goal, it started from my goal of losing weight, ironically, which it has helped with that. It was, okay, I don't want to eat out as much, so I'd have to stay home and eat. Well, okay, I need to learn how to cook then. That's basically where it stemmed off from. And you can do that. If everyone's looking to plan to lose weight, okay, what do you need to eliminate or start doing in your life? Then have the goal be that. But here's the other thing. When you do have an idea, and I feel like most of us have a good idea of things we want to do, start practicing it out now. We've got about a couple days before New Year's hits. Start doing it now. This is something Ginger and I talk about all the time. Like, don't wait till Monday. Don't wait till the next year. Start doing it now so that you can like kind of fine tune it, reconfigure, see if that's going to work, see how you need to change it. But you're not met with disappointment of, oh, I started it on Monday and then I didn't do it Tuesday. Or I started it on January 1st and I didn't go the 2nd. It's, oh, I started on a Wednesday. I realized, okay, this is good, but maybe let me change it this way. There's not as much pressure. Okay. So try it out. And I'm all about not having your goals set in stone by January 1st. It's a rework, a refiguring type thing that probably by the end of January, that's where you can kind of figure it out and be like, okay, we're moving forward, but don't think it has to be by the 1st. I'll share with you some of my goals. This will kind of go into one of the tips later. One of my goals is to, oh gosh, to be able to say no more. I am a yes girl. If you ask me to do something, yes, 100%. If you need me to go somewhere, I'm there. If you need me to help you with this, I'm on board. Everything. That is me. And while yes, sometimes I think that is a great skill to have, it has become very hard, especially being a wife and a mother and just, hello, me in my late 20s trying to figure out my life. It's come more with negative effects. And I'm starting to realize that. So what I've started doing, and like I said, this has come into our tips, so I don't want to go too much into it, but basically I'm just having a limit on things I can say yes to. I'm having more of my tasks or things that I do written out in front of me so I can say when someone asks me to do something, and anyone listening, if you hear me say this, this is why. When someone asks me to do something, I now have to respond, let me get back to you. I don't say yes right away. If it's something that I know I'm already booked for the week, I can't, then you know what, I'm actually too busy. I'm so sorry. Thank you for thinking of me. That is so sweet. I'm not going to have the time for it. But if I'm not sure, I possibly could do it, but I really need to take a step back and just think about it. I'm going to respond with, let me get back to you. And I will. And I've already started doing that a little bit, but I've really got to hone in on it more into the next year. So that's just one of my goals. Okay. So get your goals, whatever it is. Next, you're going to start gathering dates. Okay. We're talking birthdays, anniversaries, breaks, whether that's like school breaks, work breaks, whatever. Holidays, most calendars will have those already written in, but maybe there's other holidays that you celebrate that they don't, like National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, National Donut Day. I know people who celebrate those religiously. So that's totally great. So just have those all together, start texting people. That is something I want to do better. I actually have an idea for birthdays next year that I got from Judy, who did the I Do cookbook. She said that for birthday, she makes a treat box for the person's birthday. Like they get to choose and that's their present. That's what I'm doing this year. Thank you, Judy. So that's why I got to get everyone's birthdays. Okay. And then lastly, memories. We are going to plan out the experiences, y'all. And that is okay. I just think it gives you so much more to look forward to, especially going into that beginning of that year, the year, when there's January and February that creates such a lull. You know, you've got Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and we're at this high peak and then seasonal depression, January and February, and sometimes March. So we're going to have things to look forward to. Go find places. Maybe you need to go take a trip at the end of January or beginning of February. Have that to look forward to. I'm all about that. I think we had a trip this year to go out to Tehachapi, California, and it wasn't until July, but we knew about it, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the year. So we had that constantly like looking ahead. Even though it was so far ahead, I broke it up to little things that I could prepare every month just to look forward to it. So little things like that. But yeah, we want to have things to look forward to. So here's some pro tips. When you are going to be planning out your year, you know, after you've had all those things, I am a big advocate for writing it out. Now, I know you could just do it on your phone. I know you can make a spreadsheet. I'm not totally against that. Maybe just have on another hand, your calendar actually written out in front of you, where you have to write pen and paper, highlighter, whatever, marker on a whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever it is. There is something that when you're writing out, you're manifesting it. You're getting in touch with your creative side, but I don't know what it is. I've done it and it really helps. So if you were to come into my home right now, I have got a planner, a blank notebook, a whiteboard, and a chalkboard that all include some sort of calendar, plan of the week, plans for my day. I don't know. It helps me so much when I can have it in multiple places. And let's not even forget when it helps that Britton can see it. Obviously, my boys can't read right now, but I know that as a kid, I loved that. I loved being able to see, okay, what do we have planned for the day? You know, when you were in school and they'd write out your schedule, it just helps. And so me and Britton get on the same page when we know kind of what's ahead of us and we can both see it. So I'm a big advocate for writing it out. Secondly, making it yours. When you write out your calendar, I mean, I wish I was more creative. I just need everything in bold. I need to see it right in front of me, clear, crisp. Like that's how I write it out. Some people are way more creative than me. They include designs, little vinyl artwork, whatever it is, you know, you're color coordinating. Sometimes I do that actually. Whatever it is, you make it you. Again, that's going to put you in touch with your creative side, but it's going to make it yours, right? So there's that. Oh my gosh. Oh, side note, you could totally, if you need inspo, because I always say that I can never start from a blank canvas. I need something to like start me and then I can get going. TikTok, they have so many people put their journals, their planners on TikTok. Same with Pinterest. Just get an idea of like, oh, maybe that's how I want to set it up and go from there. You're going to have a scheduled meeting with yourself. Okay. So like I said, I have about 4 different types of ways that plan out my year, my month, my weeks, my days. Every week, you're going to want to sit down with yourself and kind of reevaluate. Now, that obviously helps when you're planning out your week. Like my whiteboard is all of our meals for the week. So I'm going to have to do that once a week, usually Sundays. And when I do that, it helps me be like, okay, when are we having dinner? But like, this is the week before Christmas. We're going out to 3 different events that are already going to have dinner. So I'm already in my mind knowing, okay, we've got that. So when I write it on there, that's in a way helping me plan for my week, if that makes sense. But basically just having a scheduled meeting with yourself, usually at the beginning of the week, whatever that day is, if it's Sunday, Monday, or whatever for you, have that time to just sit down, whether it's a quick 30 minutes or an hour, to just look at your week, look at your month. But if you can daily with your daily planner, that's going to be the big one. I always think that's when you can kind of fine tune everything. So it's a lot. Okay. But it's needed. So we're creating our new year, but we're also categorizing it into months, weeks, and days for whatever that is for you. Okay. Next tip. So we've acknowledged our previous year. We're creating our new year. And maybe that is the goal for you this year, is just to be in charge of your time, keep track of your time. So third, goal making. I know we kind of talked about, you're already going to make your goals when you create your new year. I just want to fine tune that a little bit more. So now you have your goals. How are you going to achieve those goals with your planning? Okay. So that's why the daily planning helps, because you're keeping track of what did I do today that's going to help put to that, or even your weekly goals. I'm all about giving you time and space to figure it out, but probably nothing longer than a week just to keep you on track. Okay. First things first, you got to read Atomic Habits. Everyone knows that book. When Ginger comes on to talk in January, we are going to extensively go into that book. That changed her life a lot and just helps her in the way that she sets goals now. But the biggest thing I want you to know is don't make your brain think. I heard this the other day, like brains love routine, and it makes sense. We see like little kids love structure. You read any parenting book out there and they will tell you stay consistent with structure. Like that is where kids thrive. Why on earth would we think that we as adults don't need that too? It just blows my mind that we just think, oh yeah, we can just be total lackadaisy and just do whatever we want. No, like when our brains don't have to think, it's just second nature that we know we're going to do this. Our brains love it. There's so many other thoughts that are going on in our brain to add more of like, well, what should I do today? No, they don't need that. Put your brain power towards something else useful than what am I going to have for lunch? Do that all in a day where you can plan out, like I said, my food board. I take 30 minutes. I go through recipe books. I look at our week and where we are and boom. And now actually, I feel like I've actually done really good on that this week. That is a new goal that I'm trying to do better. I just started it. But even just this week alone, it helps so much because it's in my kitchen. I just look at it really quick and I know, okay, today, like we had breakfast tortillas. Britton knew that and he started helping me prepare the stuff and he had it too because sometimes we'll have different breakfasts. But it was just great. And I'm like, how did you know that? And he's like, well, you have it on the board. I was like, yes. Whiteboards, y'all. They're coming back. Okay, sorry. Just to give you examples, if we're going to the gym, you've heard it before, and I think he even uses it in Atomic Habits. Set your clothes out for the night before. This is what I do now, you guys. So when I get up, and we'll kind of go over a little bit more of my day, I get up out of bed and I put my gym clothes on right away. I'm not going to the gym for like 2 or 3 hours after I wake up, but they're just on. And it's because I know I'm going to be going as soon as it's time to go. I'm just grab my keys, I'm out the door. That's huge. For cooking at home, this is something I learned from my mother-in-law and Britton. They both do it. In the morning, they already have all their stove, like pans on the stove, their utensils ready to go, anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated, like seasonings, plates. It's all on the counter, arranged right there. So they can just grab their eggs, boom, omelet, done, breakfast. It's crazy. I'm like, why is that so genius? Just to have it all right there. I started doing that with the boys' bottles when I would get up so that it's like the formula, the water bottle is right next to the bottle itself so that it's just all right in one area. Again, it sounds so obvious, yet we don't do it. Okay. So biggest thing is you want to make yourself a track and reward system. Okay, visuals are going to be helpful. I just came up with this idea this morning that I think I'm going to do for one of my goals next year. I'm going to create a roadmap on my wall out of painter's tape. I love painter's tape. I use it for everything. But I was sitting there today and I was like, oh my gosh, I should make like a little trail, zigzag trail. And I want to have certain milestones along it that put me to my end goal. So another goal, I am looking, to get on my weight loss journey, but not necessarily to lose weight. As you guys know, we do want to have another baby, but just because of everything I have gone through, I'm not allowed to even get pregnant until 2024. However, because my pregnancy then, heaven willing, that we can get pregnant again, most likely will be met with so many more high risk factors than my other two have. Britton and I have talked about it that I'm like, I have to prepare my body. It's not even just to like lose weight at this point. It's I have to get to the healthiest, like I have to build a healthy frame to house a baby. That's basically what it is. That's what I'm telling myself. So, Britton and I have been figuring it out together, like what is healthy for this instance. And so that's what I'm going to create a roadmap out of on my wall is, certain milestones met along the way. And when I do reach those milestones, I get a certain reward. Okay. Now, there are some people out there who are like, you shouldn't need to get a reward. Okay. You don't have to do that. That's fine. For me, I have a childlike nature. I like rewards like that. Why not? I'm working towards the next thing. Okay. So here's the best thing though. And another pro tip, if you are going to do the track and reward system, make sure your rewards are in line with your goal, just to make it easier. If this is for my like building my healthy frame of a body, right? My reward isn't necessarily going to be junk food or candy. It might be, hey, do you want to go update your earphones for your workouts? Hey, do you want to go buy a new pair of Fabletics leggings? Things that are like incorporating to that. Okay. If it was cooking, hey, do you want to have this new colander? Guys, I really need a new colander. I really do. I've noticed that. I'm like, needs to happen anyway. Just different things. Okay. Have it in line with your goal. And then you get to your main goal and you can have a big celebration. That's totally fine too. But at least you had something continually pushing you along the way, right? Okay. Anyway, again, everything we knew, but we just haven't been doing. All right. Okay. Making a tracker journal. These are again ideas if you're not doing the roadmap. You can make a tracking journal. This is something I saw on TikTok of a girl who was losing weight. She basically just grabbed a spiral notebook and she made the pages for herself, what she wanted it to be. One page was a bunch of squares and it had numbers in it. And it was every time she lost like a pound or whatnot. She got to highlight it in. Then the next page was, oh my gosh, I can't remember what she did, but it was super creative. And it didn't even look like, it looked like she just used what she had on hand. And if she did have to go buy anything, it was not more than $5 total. It was a notebook, pen, and highlighters, and she made it herself. But that's how she tracked her weight loss. And she did the same thing. She wrote down her rewards in there. She would get to check them off when she hit certain milestones. It was awesome. Lastly, another idea I thought for another tracking visual, make TikTok videos or record yourself talking, like in this instance, like a podcast. Can we all agree that there's a cement-like force when you have to present yourself, that it almost moves you forward to do that much better? Ginger, which she'll talk about it, she's been doing a lot of TikTok videos of her transformation. And she would then say, like, when I was taking my before photos, a lot of times people will take their before photos and just be like, whatever. They kind of really don't put any effort into it, but she would still try to put effort into it. And that kind of pushed her to, it was the weirdest thing, but it worked for her. So then a couple months down the road, when she was able to use that before photo next to her after photo, she still felt good either way, but it was a cool visual for her still. And then she would make TikTok videos, and just the idea of her being able to build something by taking a couple of clips over a week or a month and then putting it all together, it solidified in her all the hard work that she's done. That's a huge thing that we can do nowadays. And you can save it on TikTok for your eyes only. Okay. So if you don't want other people, but you still want to have it in a place to compile it, boom, done. I got you guys. Okay. So here's another pro tip. If you're making these goals and, oh my gosh, what is this? How we were talking about, right? January through March. That's that weird hump that people are trying to get over to. And it can be really easy to slip out, to get imposter syndrome, doubt yourself, whatnot. Let's try to minimize the goal then. If you're trying to lose 50 pounds, put that on the back burner. That is the main goal in sight, okay? But if that's becoming too much that you're looking at, okay, we're breaking it down. It's totally fine. You're in the month of January. I need to lose 1 pound. And that might be the bare minimum, okay? If you're just at the place that you're like, I just need to lose 1 pound, that's easier, to chew and swallow down. As my mom always said, why are you trying to eat the whole elephant? That whole saying. Just break it down. You know what you need to do. And just, even if you break it down and you're still looking at it and you're like, this is too much, break it down further. You guys, you can break it into crumb-like pieces where it's just, I need to drink 8 ounces of water today. That is my one goal today. Then do it. Okay, you guys, we got this. And like I said, we're going to talk a lot about goals with Ginger. So even if you just have an idea, but you're not sure how to put it together yet, just wait. It's going to be great. Okay. So next tip as we are creating the year, we're going to build time for resting, and specifically make sure we are not hurrying. This is something that the rest part I've been working on the past month or two. The not hurrying has just entered my brain waves like within the past 48 hours. No, I heard someone talking about it last week. So it's been lingering, but I really dove into it about 48 hours ago. So rest. First things first, if you guys need more books, remember we're talking about Atomic Habits. Another book is called Why We Sleep. It is the longest book, and it's so scientific that sometimes even my head is like, where are we? I got it on Audible, and he even says on the Audible, like, if I put you to sleep with this, that is like actually a compliment. So while sometimes there were things I couldn't grasp, there were things that hit me like, oh my gosh. And he explains exactly what the title is, why we as humans need sleep, and things that happen to humans with lack of sleep or whatnot. I can't even like go into it because it's just so deep, but it basically, the whole thing I took away from it is it has become such a part of me now that I am so strict on getting at least 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes I have to get 7. I still have 2 boys under 2, you guys. Okay. Sometimes they wake up and they have hard nights, but that's also why I'm so big on when you have kids, you get them on a sleep routine so that you can get back on your sleep routine. Because it's that imperative. If babies need it, again, if we're doing all these things for our kids, why are we not doing it for ourselves? So when I go into this next part about planning out or building your day, you will see I have made a specific point on you getting your sleep because it is that important. How are we expecting to go have a great new year if we're only running on 4 hours of sleep? It's not going to do well. Okay. Next book. This is the one I just bought. I watched a YouTube video from the guy who wrote it, kind of explaining it, and it made me bought it. So I haven't even read the book, but I'm very excited to. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Can't remember their guys' names, but if you look it up, they're there. Basically, he is selling the case for why us as a human race always are hurrying and how it's not doing us any favors. I'm pretty sure he is a pastor who wrote it. So he does relate a lot of it back to the Savior and his ministry on the earth and how he went about, and where I'll get into it in a second, but it was fascinating. So real quick. Okay. Like I was just saying, we live in a world or society that thinks we thrive on busyness. Right? Busy equals productivity. No. And like I told you guys, what is my main goal for the next year? My number one goal, I have to say no because I am the queen of let me fill my day to the brim. If you talk to my mom, she will always say how she gets on me all the time. Like, McKenna, you are doing too much. When we were in New Mexico this last week, we didn't have the boys. And it was just me and Britt, but Britt still had to go to practice. So I had all this time and I still filled it being like, I want to go shopping because I never just get to go shopping by myself. But there was a day that I came home and there was about a good hour and a half before Britton got back. And I was just sitting there and I was like, what am I going to do? And I just sat there. I'm pretty sure I was watching TikTok. But I think it was about after a half hour or so, I sat there and I was like, I have never, for the longest time, okay, I've done it before, but it's been a while that I've just been able to sit and not do anything. Yeah, okay, 30 minutes spent on TikTok might not be the best way of time, but for me to not do anything, to just be in a moment, that's what I needed. And it was great. It was fabulous. So much that I'm like, okay, I need to have more moments of that. They don't always need to be spent on TikTok. It was a great time though. I found some hilarious videos. Okay. I grabbed a picture from the Sleep Foundation of how much sleep we need. I think we talked about this on another episode, but as we know, like newborns need 14 to 17 hours of sleep. It's a lot. Okay. As they get into infancy, about between 4 and 11 months, it's about 12 to 15 hours, right? Toddler, which is 1 to 2 years old, it's about 11 to 14. So they're still in that high range, right? 11 to 14 hours, that is a lot of sleep for us. But if we jump ahead to teens, that's 14 to 17 years old. They need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Okay. And then when we get into young adulthood and into our adult years, so I'm going to do a gap here, 18 years old to 64 years old, the time we need for sleep is 7 to 9 hours. I might even argue that it's like, why can't we go for the 10 hours? But I get it. During your young adult and adult years, there's a lot happening. You're trying to find your way in life. You're trying to build up whatever it is. But biggest thing is, I think we need to strive for that 7 to 9 hours. 8 hours is my sweet spot. Okay. If you can do that, I'm pretty sure, yeah, when I built what I'm going to talk about here next, it's that you have 8 hours. But anyway, the random thing from the book of Why We Sleep, he was talking about if you're trying to learn or accomplish something, go to sleep. He talked about this person who was trying to learn an instrument, and as he was learning the notes of a particular song, he would always get to this part that he would mess up every time. It was the same part, and he was dragging on, and it was like he noticed it was at nighttime that he was practicing, and the advice that was given to him was to go to sleep and then after a good night's sleep, he could get over that, like that thing in the notes. I'm probably butchering it, but it hit me enough that I was like, of the amount of times I was in school and I would try to do projects or homework at night and they would always come off terrible rather than if I just went to sleep. I'm just saying. And then did it after sleep. It was better. Okay. The hurrying. Right now, like I told you, I am blocking out extracurriculars on my schedule to a certain number a week. In the book of The Ruthless Elimination of Hurrying, he said most of our negative and regretful decisions are made while we are hurrying. So that was just an impact to me. So with all that in, and like I said, I'm just kind of jumbling a little bit of what I've trying to hold in to make this. We're going to build our day. We've talked about building our year. You kind of know your weeks or your months and your weeks, but let's go down to the basic build your day. This is your foundation. Okay. This is something that I've kind of now solidified. I've worked on, as you guys know, like I said, I'm a natural born planner. That is me, especially since I've had kids. Me and planners we're close. Okay. So I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how the best way to set up your day works because I've done a lot and I have failed with a lot of them. But this right now, this is working. It might change, might be fine-tuned, but here's what I feel to give to you guys. How is the best day to build your day? First things first, do not time constraint your day. Do not, unless it's like, okay, if you have an appointment at 2:30, yeah, you're going to probably put it at 2:30, but do not say that I need to be showered, dressed, had breakfast by 7:30 every day. Don't do it. It will not work. And you will find yourself being more tired, more fed up, and throwing away your planner than ever before. Okay. So we're not going to do that. What is going to help us, this thing I found out, is you're going to block out your day, but basically put it into blocks. Okay. What I have is the 3 blocks and sliver method. Let me explain. You've got 3 blocks that are going to make up your day. Okay. The first block is you time. Okay. Second block is building time. And the third block is relationships fulfillment time. Okay. These do not have to go in any specific order. That order I just wrote to you, that's how my order goes. But of those 3 blocks, you can switch it around and we'll kind of talk about different ways of that. So you time. This is about a 3 to 5 hour time block. And it's all about you. This is, I use the body, mind, and spirit. That's how I kind of categorize my you time block. If I'm looking at my planner for today, so my you time, I had my morning ritual, which includes me journaling, doing my scripture study. I start drinking my water for the day. That is my ritual every morning. I know that if I just say morning ritual, that's the thing. But already right there, I've got my body. Hello, I've been drinking my vitamins. I do have vitamins, water. My mind, I'm journaling. And then my spirit, boom, scripture study. That's already knocked 3 of like big 3 things out. But continuing in that block, I need to go to the gym. I need to have breakfast. I need to get dressed and I need to go over my plans for the day and to pray and meditate. All those things fit into the body, mind, and spirit for whatever it is. And you know what yours are. But I know, and I wrote out here, my max, I do the max for you time. So between 3 and 5 hours, I do 5 hours. And let me explain why. I wake up at 5 a.m. and I know from the time I wake up, I have 5 hours to accomplish my you time block. So from 5 to 10, I have put in there in that block what I just said, what I have to do. I then manage my time how I want to. I'm not set to an exact time that I have to be to the gym. I just know in my head, okay, yeah, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do my morning ritual. Britton left to the gym at 5. So I know I have about an hour and a half that I can knock out some of those things because I obviously have to stay home. I can't go to the gym since he's there and the boys are at home. I then was able to get those things blocked out. He came home and I was like, I'm going to go to the gym now. But because I have children, and I love my husband, I'm not just going to leave him to fend to himself. I help get the boys up, get their bottles, and get them situated, and then I head out the door. At the gym, I'm very productive. I'm moving along. I'm not taking too much time because I'm looking, I'm like, okay, it's about, 7:45 at this time that I'm finishing up my workout, that I want to keep moving along because I know I still have some other things in that block. I know I have till 10, and I've got that time on my head that we're moving along. We're being productive. Now, side note, again, I know I'm throwing so much at you. Just bear with me. I was just talking about hurrying. Okay. I don't ever want to be in a state, I'm consciously trying really hard that I'm not hurrying and I'm trying to be present. The way I'm doing that, I have 5 hours in this block. Of those things, this is how I make sure I'm not overproducing or having too much in that block. However many hours you're going to do, the 3, the 4, or the 5, the tasks that you have should match the number of hours, or you can have one more. So right now in my block, I have 2, 4, 6 tasks. So it is one over the normal hours. However, it's because it was like, one of them's like really simple, but that is how you kind of keep in line with your timing. You don't put any more tasks over like your hours, if that makes sense. If you're only doing the 3 hours for your U time block, then you can have 3 to 4 tasks. That's it. So you make sure you are so intentional on what those are, but then it also gives you that time if something comes up that you're not being like, oh my gosh, I have to hurry and go to the gym now. You've got 3 hours if that's part of your U time block, okay? If you don't have kids, you're probably doing that 3-hour time. But I gave myself the 5 hours because I have kids and there's always something that comes up. But I also, this is another part of why I love the gym. My gym has a sauna. That is my reward for working out. So I know if I am diligent and just working hard on my workout, I still get to go have that extra time in that sauna. That's my reward. So, okay. Then we're going on to, sorry, it's on my other page, the building time. Okay. So you've done your U time, whatever that is for you, the body, mind, and spirit. The building time. This is going to be things that help build or better your home life, your family life, or your life. Okay. Work, school, errands that you have to run for whatever. This is going to take up a big chunk of everyone's day. This is the middle of the day for everyone. Okay. That is 6 to 8 hours. School, depending on what you're going to schooling for, you got work on top of that. Whatever it is, you've got 6 to 8 hours. I don't know too many people that have to go over 8 hours. And if it is, then you just adjust accordingly. We're basically wanting to, total this all out to 24 hours, but 6 to 8 hours. Okay. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. Okay. This is going to look different for everyone else, but from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. today, I had some errands that I have to go run. This is where I usually will clean the house. The boys are asleep right now. So I know I have that in there, that's just a part of this. Recording my episode, doing a little work, making lunch, and then we have to leave somewhere to go to dinner. So of this, I have 6 hours that I want 2, 4, 6, 7. Boom. There you go. Okay. So you can always have the 1 over task, but do not go over that, whatever your hour block is, or you will be feeling crunched for time. You're hurrying. We don't want that. Okay. And lastly, the relationship fulfillment time. This is going to be, in at least my case, the evening time. This is when, Britton's on break right now, but normally with school or once, he's going to be graduating, has work. This is the time that we get to be with loved ones. You're relaxing. You're being present in the moment. Okay. So for us, like ours tonight is going to be dinner. We're going to dinner with my cousins, Brett and Maddie. And then we're going to go see lights with them. So that is our fulfilling time, but we still have a bedtime for the boys, getting them down and then just getting ready for bed. So that's 4 hours that we've blocked out. We know where we're going to be, what we're doing. I haven't really added anything on top of just we're going to be with family. Okay. Kind of give you an idea. All right. Just so what it is. And then lastly, so remember I said it's 3 blocks and a sliver. The sliver is called the sleep sliver. the sleep routine. Okay. I am huge on this, you guys. I've watched a bunch of videos. I've read books now that everyone says you should have at least 1 hour to wind yourself down before you go to bed. Because we all know if you work yourself up right to bedtime, you usually go and lay in bed and you're sitting there going on in your mind. You can't stop thinking, or you decide to go look at your phone. You're staying up later. TV's on, whatever it is. Give yourself the hour to have a sleep routine. I'm totally going to do a full in-depth episode about this because I did one for our babies. Why on earth would I not do one for the adults? But basically just give yourself that hour, okay? 1 hour, because as we know, it can take up to 45 minutes just to wind down, okay? Plan your day for tomorrow. Just get ready for bed, do your skincare routine, listen to an audiobook, just whatever it is, you're winding down. And then boom, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. You guys, that adds up to 24 hours, okay? So again, once you know the blocks now, don't choose, when you're building it for you, you're not going to choose the max time in all three, okay? I've had it here. You can choose the max time on 2 of the blocks, and then you'll usually have the minimum on the other, or mix and match it however you want. But do not forget your sleep sliver, and do not forget your 7 to 9 hours of sleep, okay? So some random routines that I just came up with. Well, the first one is mine. Like I said, I have the 5 to 10 in the morning of my block 1. I'm doing the max, which is 5 hours, 3 to 5. 10 to 4 is my block 2. And that's your 6 to 8 hour block. I'm doing the minimum 6 hours. And my 4 to 8 p.m. is my block 3. I'm doing the max, which is 5 hours or 4 hours. So I guess, did I say that was 3 to 4? Look at me. I can't even get with it. Okay, guys, I just said it and now I don't even have it. And now I'm getting all in my head. 3 to 4. No, I was right. Okay. 3 to 4 max is my 4 sleep sliver, 1 hour. Boom. I'm in bed. So from 8 to 9, I'm doing my sleep sliver and I'm going to bed at 9. That's again, a normal schedule I feel for like a mom, but let's say you have to work or you have school. Well, then maybe your block 1 is 6 to 9, 3 hours. Okay. That's your minimum. Then you're working 9 to 5 or whatever. And you adjust obviously for drive times, 8 hours, 5 to 9 is your block 3, and then boom, sleep sliver. Or maybe you work a graveyard shift. So your block 3 is your first one of the day. That could be you coming home from work. You're spending time with your family. You do your sleep sliver. You go to sleep. You're waking up at 6 p.m. and you're doing your block 1, which is your you time, getting yourself ready. And then boom, block 2, you're at your building time, which whatever that could be. So the whole point is customize it to your likes. But this is just, I have felt the easiest way to help you plan your day and not feel burnt out. I'm going to make a little it's really hard to describe this on podcast. So I'll try to make a graphic, but again, 3 blocks: you time, building time, relationship fulfillment time. You time is 3 to 5 hours, building time, 6 to 8 hours, and relationship fulfillment time, 3 to 4 hours, plus a sleep sliver, which is an hour. 24 hours, you guys. Boom. Okay, that was a lot. And like I said, I know it was a little confusing on that end. I will try to make a little graphic or something to help, but try it out, mess around with it, kind of fit it towards you. But I think it's going to really help you live and fulfill the days that you can just look back and be like, I was productive. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay. The scripture study that I was able to have today. Guys, I have not been the best at scripture studying. I have not given that time to myself. I have been working on that. And today I actually really was like, okay, just do it. You've got an hour and a half. I've already journaled. Let's just be in the moment. When I was listening to that YouTube video from the author of the Hurry book, he talked about how Jesus was never in a hurry. He was productive. He went about with purpose, but of that, he never was like rushing to his task, that he was missing opportunities along the way. Does that make sense? And he said, you go look up in the Bible, go read anything about a story about Jesus, and you tell me if you can't find that exact example. So being me, I was like, I'm going to try this out. So I'm sitting there today. I open my Bible. I'm like, okay, Matthew, let's go. Flipping through some chapters, and I'm just looking through the headings to be like, hey, which one can I want to see what, like, Jesus's day. I stop on chapter 7. Okay. This is right after Christ has been fasting 40 days and 40 nights, feeling a little tired, just a bit, Satan's coming to tempt him, whatever. He tells him to get thee hence. And then it says in the Bible, he realizes John is in prison. So he needs to go to him. Okay. And I pulled out a map of Israel because, you guys, it literally talks about how he was going to Galilee. He needed to go see John. And along the way, he decided to dwell in Capernaum. There were people along the way who he was being blessed. Also stopped by the Sea of Galilee, picked up Simon, some other apostles. All of this happened in a productive day as he went on his way to the Sermon of the Mount. And I was just sitting there, I was like, he's totally right. Christ emulates this. And as you guys know, I know not all of you might have a Christian background or believe that, but I think it's a great way to just bring about this meaning is for me to know that I want to live a life like Christ did. And if the Savior himself, who had many, many things to do, could still find time to not hurry, to walk, and to find opportunities to bless and help people along the way, then shouldn't we be doing that too? And that is why I built that system of blocking, where you're not time constrained, but you have a block of time that if other opportunities arise or come up, that you have that time and you should go and do that thing. Now, maybe you might not be able to tick off all your tasks for that day, but how amazing that you actually give yourself the opportunity to then, because as we know, if you're ever going about on the Lord's errand, you're going to be blessed way more than if you were just sticking to your own goals of the day. So, okay, that's my little spiritual moment. Sorry, all over the place. Not sorry, because I love the Lord and you should too. Okay, we've made it to the end of the episode. Thank you for being here. It was a lot. I hope it has been great for you, and I hope you can take this and make 2023 a great year, and every year after that a great year. The little announcement I wanted to talk about, this is something I just came up with yesterday. And it's going to be a first time I'm ever doing this, but I would like to invite you to a planning party with me. I am going to do an Instagram live on my Munch and Mingle podcast account on Instagram. And on New Year's Day, I have not solidified the time yet, but I will let you know. I want you to come sit with me. I'm going to probably do it for no longer than an hour. And basically, I'm going to do what we just talked about. I'm going to plan out my year. And so you at home, wherever you are, I want you to come join me. Gather, your calendars, your goals, any markers, stickers, basically any stationery that you need. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and just come sit with me for an hour as we plan out our 2023. I know this is something that I've always loved to do with people. And so I want you to come do it with me. Let's plan it out. I'll kind of go through the same things that I just did. I'll go kind of build it up like, hey, this is our year and we're going to plan out a year. Start doing our dates, start doing your holidays. Okay, what are your goals? All that stuff so that you can have someone doing it there with you. You're not alone, and we're going to start this year off on the right foot. Okay. I'm so excited. Please come. And obviously if you're busy, New Year's Day out there, just crushing your goals, it's safe. So come back and go do it. Okay. Let me know how it goes for you. Again, big thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, for coming to talk and listen with me every day to munch on some food. I am thrilled that we have come this far, and I am absolutely pumped and stoked for next year. I've got some great episodes. They are so great. I've got some amazing people that I cannot wait for you to meet. Some of them you already know that we're going to go in on other topics deeper. Some of them you haven't met, but I cannot wait. It's going to be a great year. I see many big things coming our way, you guys, and it's going to be great. So have a great Christmas. By the time you're listening to this, Christmas is coming up. Go and enjoy time with your loved ones. Remember the real reason for the season. And then I will see you on Instagram, New Year's Day, time pending. I'll let you know sometime in the morning. Okay. And then I will see you back here on the podcast the second week of January. And it's going to be great. And we'll just start off, hit the ground running. Okay, you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.